In the little town of Maple Hollow lived a young boy named Toby. Toby was a lively lad of 10 with a wild shock of red hair and eyes full of wonder. But Toby had one peculiar trait that often got him in trouble. He didn't truly grasp the importance of respecting his parents, especially his mom, Mrs. Maplewood. Mrs. Maplewood was a kind woman, always bustling about with a heart full of love like a jar brimming with honey. She'd hum pleasant tunes while she baked apple pies, stitched his clothes, and even when she fed the sparrows every morning. However, Toby often found himself shrugging off her words or dismissing her advice. One crisp autumn day, while the leaves fluttered to the ground like little golden dancers, Mrs. Maplewood approached Toby with her gentle voice. "Toby, remember the forest near the brook? It's getting chilly and the paths can be slippery now. Stay away from those parts until your father can go with you this weekend." Despite the earnest warning, Toby barely heeded his mother's advice. His mind was only on the adventures that awaited in the whispering woods. Unbeknownst to him, the forest had changed with the onset of fall. The ground was slippery with damp leaves, and the brook had swelled from the recent rains. The very next day, with an adventurous spirit and little thought, Toby decided to explore the forest. "I'll be careful," he muttered to himself, dismissing his mother's caution like a fleeting cloud passing the sun. As Toby wandered deeper into the woods, he marveled at the tall trees and the chattering squirrels. Soon, the sky began to turn a sullen gray, and a chilly wind whispered through the branches. The path grew muddier, and before long, Toby found himself near the brook, its waters now rushing angrily. Without warning, his foot slipped on a slick stone, and down he tumbled, landing awkwardly with a grunt. His ankle throbbed, and tears filled his eyes when he realized he couldn't stand. Panic set in as the forest now loomed dark and unfriendly around him. Hours passed like an eternity until Toby heard a familiar voice echoing through the thickets. "Toby, Toby," called Mr. Maplewood, his lantern casting a warm glow. Relief washed over Toby as his father arrived, lifting him gently. They made their way home, where Mrs. Maplewood anxiously awaited. Her face was a mixture of relief and worry as she saw Toby's ankle. "Oh, Toby," she sighed gently but firmly, "I warned you about the woods. Do you see now why it's important to listen?" Toby nodded slowly, the lesson sinking in with the warmth of his family's love enveloping him like a quilt on a cold night. From that day on, Toby listened carefully and respected his mom and dad's words, for he understood they came from a place of care and wisdom that only parents possess.